Good afternoon, I'm Shawnee Au, and this is One News Now. The OCTA research team observed a surge in COVID-19 cases in the provinces. Conversely, the increase in cases here in the nation's populous center was much less than expected. To give us more details on this, Dr. Guido David from the OCTA Research Group joins us live. Hi, Guido. Why are we seeing an uptick in provincial cases? Did the holiday exodus bring the virus out into the provinces?
Actually, we don't have a specific explanation yet. We're just seeing the numbers, and they're increasing in certain provinces. Um, and some of these provinces never had an increase, like Mountain Province and Kalinga, and they're now having an increase. So it's not clear if it's the exodus or if, I mean, one thing which we're careful about saying is that, the point is that the Filipina who was identified with the coronavirus virus variant in Hong Kong came from Cagayan province. And Cagayan is one of the places where we're seeing the increase in cases. In fact, the increase is very significant. They doubled in 1 to 2 weeks the number of daily cases. So it's not just in Cagayan, but also in, like I said, Mountain Province and Kalinga and Benguet. And what we're seeing is a pattern of increase that is similar to the patterns of increase found in countries with the variant of the coronavirus. We're not saying that the variant is responsible for this increase. What we're just saying is that the pattern of increase is similar. It could be that it's just a holiday surge, post-holiday surge, but it's already been 2 weeks 3 weeks since the holiday. And in Metro Manila and Calabarzon, we're not seeing a holiday surge. We're not even seeing a translation surge. But in these provinces, we're seeing the surge.
All right, moving on to this new IATF decision to relax age restrictions in MGCQ areas. Could there be any effect of this?
There could be a significant effect, actually. And I'm not sure if they have. Well, I mean, I haven't seen the science that they use to back their policies, uh, because of course there are limited studies on the effects of children or how they affect the transmissions. But I'm looking at a study right now, and it's fairly recent, and it does show a significant effect when you have children outdoors. And we're in the process of writing this paper that outlines the effect and what could have what could possibly be affected when we let children out. Of course, if they're doing this in MGCQ areas, especially in low risk areas, the risk is probably minimal because we don't have a lot of cases there. I mean, as long as it's in MGCQ areas. But once we go to places with high transmissions, high risk areas, then it could be problematic. Even if it's an MGCQ area, but it's a place which is conducive to increased transmissions. And as I mentioned, nobody saw an increase coming in Mountain Province or Kalinga, but it's happening. So any province is really susceptible to an increase, especially if we have a variant that's possibly in the country already, and we haven't seen. I mean, we haven't seen or any evidence that this variant is widespread, but at the same time, we haven't tested that many yet. We haven't done sequencing on a larger scale, so we can't really say for sure that the variant is not here or it's not widespread.
All right. You mentioned that the sequencing is not yet complete. Would you know, Dr. David, if the process is ongoing right now, if they are sequencing the genes from those with higher viral loads compared to others? And if so, when can we expect the results of these studies to come out?
Well, I know that they've already sequenced some cases from Metro Manila, and they found no evidence of the variant. And they've already sequenced, in fact, the contacts traced for the Filipina who was identified with the variant in Hong Kong, and they found that they were positive, but they didn't have the variant, which is a bit strange to me because they had the COVID, but they didn't have the variant. So something doesn't add up. I mean, or I'm a bit puzzled by this. But again, the numbers that we have sequenced is quite low, admittedly, and that's because sequencing is expensive. It's an expensive task that takes time and resources. So we're not saying one thing or the other. We're just saying that what we do know is that we don't have enough information right now regarding if the variant is present in these other high risk areas. And for example, Cebu is also undergoing a significant increase in number of cases. But from what I heard, based on my correspondence with some reporters there, they said that sequencing will not be available in Cebu. But Cebu is also one of the provinces having this significant increase in new cases.
Right, thank you. A lot of moving parts for sure. Dr. Guido David of the UP OCTA research team, thank you so much for your time and your insights. Like we have been saying, the IATF has approved the recommendation on the Health Department to require inbound travelers or some inbound travelers to undergo a second RT-PCR test. Those coming from countries included in the travel restriction list are required to take another test on their 5th day in quarantine. This comes after the partner of the first UK variant case in the Philippines tested positive for COVID-19 after re-swabbing, despite testing negative upon arrival in the country. The FDA says that delivery of Sinovac shots in February could be delayed without an emergency use authorization from the FDA. The vaccine has no prior EUA from a stringent regulatory authority, which means it could take up to 3 weeks for the Philippine FDA to grant one. FDA Chief Eric Domingo says this also hinges on how fast the Chinese drug maker submits its reply to questions on the vaccine. The FDA has received data from clinical trials in Brazil, Turkey, and Indonesia. Local authorities have announced the arrival of Sinovac's jabs on February 20.
Gaano po katagal yan, no? Katulad po ng mga meron ng US FDA, UK FDA. Kaya po ng mga 2 weeks yan, 1 week, and then interim question and answer, and then another week. Pag po ganitong medyo mas mabusisi tayo, of course, it might extend a little longer.
We have more stories after this quick break. Stay with us. You are still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Officials of Rodriguez Rizal are now in talks with the National Housing Authority, or NHA, for the relocation of residents affected by the landslide that hit one barangay earlier today. Justine Punsalang has the story.
Only the roofs of these houses were left, while this house was partially damaged after a landslide hit Barangay San Rafael in Rodriguez Rizal. Fortunately, there were no reported deaths or injuries among the residents. Romel Vega narrated that his wife and children almost got trapped inside their home.
Mga alas 10 pa lang, sobrang init na. Parang may sumisingaw na sobrang init. Napakabilis ng pangyayari. Halos na-stuck muna sila sa bahay kasi biglang na-shock. Pero pasalamat, yung bandang likuran lang hindi siya tumagos ng gusto. Pero gakotse yung laki ng bato. Nag-resist lang yung mga beam tsaka column.
Residents of Sitio AC said they heard what seemed to be stones rolling off the Parawagan Mountain last night.
Bandang alas 7 is may pumapatak na bato. Hanggang mga alas 11, palakas siya ng palakas. Tapos alauna, bago mag-alauna, nag-info ko sa barangay, nag-radyo na ako na medyo lumalakas na yung guho.
They believe the continuous rain 2 days ago oversaturated the soil of the mountain.
Siguro na very saturated yung lupa. At the same time, meron ding siyempre mga dating kinuwari to pinablasting. Although baka may mga cracks na, di ba? Oh, tapos may nag-uuling pa sa taas, pinutol mga puno.
Due to landslide debris, the road that leads to the Rodriguez town proper was temporarily closed down. Residents took it upon themselves to start the clearing operations because the Municipal Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office had only arrived at the site 6 hours after the landslide. Now the local government is strictly prohibiting residents from living at the foot of the mountain. But Barangay San Rafael Chairman Aaron Alvarez said they did not fail in reminding residents that the area is prone to landslides.
Katunayan po, meron po silang mga waiver na dati pa na talagang pinapalis po namin sila, nasa sa kanila na po mag-stay sila.
Alvarez said the municipal government of Rodriguez is now in talks with the National Housing Authority for the relocation of the residents. For News 5, Justine Punsalang. We are One News.
Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga is determined to push through with the Tokyo Olympics. Reports have been circulating that the Games have been cancelled again because of the pandemic. Suga says he will continue to work with Tokyo and the International Olympic Committee, or IOC, to actualize the quadrennial event. The Games were postponed last March at the outbreak of the virus and reset to July of this year. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao, and we are One News.
Not been released as of now. We have probable sites that will be included in the Solidarity vaccine trial, but that will depend on the areas with the highest reported cases. With regards to the Sinovac, the trial sites assigned to them do not overlap or duplicate with the ones assigned or supposed to be assigned to the Solidarity vaccine trial.